shongla chuji anji podrana toksen sanji kanji ngonyet razama shurka muzuma stunzaba sawe lama namla sorate kirbe sanje chua shikdanye nyamba drupa shomla tanda sanjine manere dambe janso tsu lodo janso shabla sorate lame josme janso doje dang shurka kure pema shomla ji shenri zinga gyawe nyuku ye tanda drupa tanjina drupara ho ranjin lama drambe kajela kosme charo shitro la zoha rale jana nipre tujoni tuyo irmi jivara shinji lo. Everybody give rise to bodhicitta to benefit countless suffering sentient beings, that all beings may be free from suffering and all the causes of suffering, that they may have happiness and all the causes of happiness, that they may never be separated from the great happiness, devoid of suffering, that they may forever dwell in the great equanimity, free from attachment and aversion. To sacred bodhicitta, the precious and excellent mind, where it is not, may it arise, where it is, may it never decline, consistently growing, rising higher and higher. We carry on these teachings, and we ended off last week. The last time was verse number 4. We ended off saying that the most important practice is to abide in Rigpa, to maintain Rigpa. Within Rigpa, we can transform all of these afflictive emotions. Within Rigpa, we contain all the merits, all the wisdom. So as best as you can, maintain Rigpa. If you don't know Rigpa, then the best as you can, at least maintain your awareness and loving kindness and compassion. And last week also spoke about impermanence. Such important teachings. If you remember, there was the story where Lama Achuk Rinpoche asked one of his students, what is the most important? And he said, the student answered, abide, be one with your teacher. And he said, no, most important is impermanence. Always remember impermanence. It's so important. Okay. Now we start with verse number 5. And verse number 5 is, the practice of all the bodhisattvas is to avoid destructive friends, in whose company the 3 poisons of the mind grow stronger, when we engage less and less in study, reflection and meditation, so that love and compassion fade away until they are no more. So, negative friends, over here they call them destructive friends. I'll call them negative friends. These are the people that have a lot of influence over our lives, influence over what we do. We get very easily affected or led astray by them. We keep up, make all sorts of efforts to keep up pretenses with them. It's very important that we realize we get to know these friends. And also it's very important every moment, as much as possible, as best as we can, when things are changing, know that we can also change. We have the ability every moment to change. If we're not changing, if we don't change ourselves, we don't transform, then the result is we continue following these negative thoughts, these negative patterns. We stay in states of unhappiness. So, as best as you can, practice. Every moment you can let go. Letting go is liberation. As a thought arises, let it go. As an event, an attachment to something arises, let it go. As soon as a discriminating thought arises, let it go. Learn to let go. Every moment is living in the now, awareness in the now. What we do now affects the future, but we only have now. We don't live in the past, we don't live in the future. What is happening is now, in the present. So every moment in the present, let go. Let go. Every moment is liberation. Need awareness to do this. Every moment is letting go, is liberation. It's important to live a noble life. A noble life is a life of wisdom, of loving kindness, compassion, of working hard or diligently with discipline and transforming yourself. It doesn't mean getting a reputation for yourself. It means really wishing to benefit others. Sentient beings are so important. Without sentient beings, how would we attain enlightenment? They are the objects of our practice. If you do, you transform these afflictions. Wherever you go, people feel happy around you. They feel comfortable up around you. Look at great people. Let me use Rinpoche. How great is he? When you're around him, you feel so comfortable. You feel so welcome. And these are practices, the 37 practices of Bodhisattvas. Heard Rinpoche this year teaching. And whenever you go to the temple, wherever you go, and Rinpoche is around, you feel welcome. And Rinpoche, from the age of 6 already, he started practicing bodhicitta. Look at Mother Teresa, she only had a cross and sandals that she left, maybe some robes. But the way she left, how do people remember her? Most people very kindly. So when you really have these aspirations, you really treat people with love and kindness, people feel warmth, they feel happy, they feel welcome, they feel trust. So it's very important to see the big picture, to open our minds, not just think of ourselves. We can lie there. We used the example of the little black dot on the page. Same as well. If you just lie there, you can just look at yourself at night, maybe. Lie at night, on a clear night, out in the desert or out in the mountains, and you look up and there's all these stars, and the universe is so vast. Our mind can be so vast. But if we just concentrate on this one little area, then our mind becomes very narrow. It's like going to new places these days. When we were younger, you had to have a map. You looked at the map and you looked around and you looked at the streets and you looked at the landmarks and you kept your gaze open. Now, when people go look for places, they're all looking at their phone. The whole scenery, the beautiful architecture, the different country, the different culture. You're just looking at your phone instead of looking at what's going on, looking at the world around you. So, when we're so narrow-minded, I, self-grasping, our mind becomes very narrow, become vast, lie on the ground, looking up at the stars, how vast this universe is. Smile at people. It makes a big difference. If you meet people on the bus, smile at them. Walk past, smile at them. If people smile at you, you feel okay, you feel better. Some people might think, why is this creep smiling at me? But generally, people are very happy when people smile. They did a survey and they said if you receive a smile or you get a smile from somebody you like, it's the equivalent of the happiness of 1,000 chocolates. So smile more often. Sometimes Rinpoche teases some of the monks. He says, why are you walking around so seriously? You've got this incredible opportunity to practice, to transform. Enjoy it. Do it with enthusiasm. Don't walk around as if life is so terrible. Most important, we change our mind. Transform our mind. We abide in Rigpa. Not that we increase our fame and our fortune. Fame and fortune, people think reputation, wealth, it's going to bring us happiness. But you look at what some people say. Look at Miley Cyrus. I think I saw a quote from her. She said, having the top of the charts and great singles is really maybe stimulating. Maybe it's exciting, but it doesn't make you happy. All that fame doesn't make you happy. I think Jim Carrey said, he attained all that wealth, and he said, I wish that everybody earns and attains the fame and the wealth that I got, because when they do, they will realize it doesn't make you happy. So all of these things, they don't necessarily bring the happiness. Be careful. What do we wish for? Why do we wish for this? Is our wish and our goal at odds with what we want? What are we doing? Is it at odds with what we want? Treat people, like we mentioned, with love and kindness. Look at Gandhi, look at Mandela, all of these great saints. On the other hand, you can be a president. You can have a lot of fame and reputation. If you treat the people well, you get a lot of respect. But if you do the other, if you don't, then you're greedy, you steal from the country, you harm the people, then you create many enemies. People want to get rid of you. They're too happy to see the back of you. They find ways to prosecute you, to take you to court. Many people, other countries might want to overthrow you. Your local people might want to overthrow you. So, you see, fame, fortune doesn't necessarily mean come to a good end. It could be the creation where you create a lot of suffering for yourself, a lot of suffering for others. And people that are stingy, I said before, I think last time, when we spoke about the afflictions. People holding on to their money. You see wealthy people. Some wealthy people are really generous, but many of them hold on to their money so tightly. It's very difficult for them to give away anything. At the time of Buddha, there was somebody who was very stingy, and what Buddha said to him was that you must practice giving. But he said, it's so difficult for me to give. So Buddha said, well, first, imagine that the right hand is giving to the left hand with nothing. Just imagine. And he got used to this, and then he came back to the Buddha. And the Buddha said, okay, now imagine giving yourself something, and then give a little bit to other people. Then you can get used to it. And slowly, by doing this, he practiced. He became more and more generous, more able to give. But if you don't have that practice, if you have that practice of stinginess, it's very difficult to give to other people. You don't even think to give to other people because you never even think maybe sometimes for yourself. But sometimes they do it a lot for themselves, but not for anybody else. So help other people, benefit others, benefit sentient beings. Even if you can't do it 100% of the time, do it 50%, do it 30%. Already this is great benefit. And at the same time, don't harm others. Cherish this life. Cherish life. Live it with enthusiasm. Live it meaningfully. Doesn't mean we have to give up everything, as we said. What we have to give up is these afflictive emotions, this attachment, the self-grasping. Enjoy what you have. Accept these new ways of teachings. Turn our teachings, our thinking, turn our thinking upside down. Doesn't mean we have to change our culture, just the way we think. And it works for everybody. If we really see the essence of these afflictions, we can liberate them with awareness. Remember once going, I think it was somewhere in the West, and somebody asked Rinpoche, they said, you know, we Westerners, this thinking of Buddhism is from the East. Do you think that we should stay? Easterners should practice the Eastern way and Westerners should practice the Western way. And Rinpoche said no, because the essence, the nature of the afflictions is the same. Maybe what we attach to or what we view is different, but the afflictions are the same and the essence of them is the same. So they work for all cultures. So we don't have to change our culture. What we have to do is change these negative thoughts, change these discriminatory thoughts, let them go, transform them. How do we let them go? There's all sorts of pith instructions. One of them is just to watch. As it arises, just watch it. Don't jump into it. Don't jump into the river. And these methods, these are proven methods for happiness. More important, they're proven methods for attaining enlightenment. That's the most important, is attaining enlightenment. Tell us the truth. See how things really are. See things as white. If it's really white, see it as white. What happens is people don't see the way things are. They don't see the illusory nature of things. They think it's real and solid. So it's like somebody with jaundice who sees everything as yellow when in fact it's white. So you tell them it's white, and slowly, when they cure, they start to see things white again. The same as us, we see things as so solid, so real, and through the teachings we start to see the reality, how they really are. And then we become more free. Transform. We're always, as we said, we're looking outside. We're always looking for the devil outside. Instead of the devil inside, the devil in me. Every one of us has got the devil in. Is it inside or in me? Words as weapons, sharper than knives. Watch those words. Words as weapons, sharper than knives. Words can really harm. They can harm sometimes much more than physical harm. Choose your words carefully. These negative friends, who are they? These are these people that influence us. And because of them, doesn't necessarily mean that these people are bad. It just means that they have different interests to us. And because of those different interests, they take us away from practicing. Because they have influence over us. Either they have influence because we think they can tell us what to do, or they influence us because we really like them and we want to please them, we want to be around them, we feel good around them, we feel life is interesting around them. So their interests might be very different. They might think that the most important thing is work, or the most important thing is to party, to go dancing, to go gambling. Could be many different. Go spending time with friends. They could have many different interests, but because we like them, we follow them. So, as we said, that influence takes us away from the practice. Our enemies, they won't change us that easily. When do we listen to the enemy? If an enemy says something, you have to do something, we put our foot down. No, I won't. That's my enemy. I'll never do anything they tell me to do. I won't bend to their demands. I won't let them influence me. Enemies, we easily see it. Enemies come, look at myself, look at the practice. But those negative friends, oh, we like them. I like that one. Oh, they're coming again. Oh, let me spend some time with them. So you see this, it happens in the monasteries as well. People are there, they start with these great intentions, they're really enthusiastic, they practice, they're really being very diligent. And then somebody else comes, suddenly somebody they like, this person's not so interested, they've got different interests. Then they say, well, let's go to the city, let's go there, let's go to the town. You say, okay, it'll be okay. The next minute they're gone, left the monastery. And then they've broken these arising causes. Sometimes it's difficult to come back, sometimes they don't come back. They've been influenced, allowed themselves to be influenced. They like this person, they follow them. Next minute, maybe they get married. Maybe they go back to work. So these people have influence over us. So be very careful. Be very aware. What are the people that we're spending time with? What is their influence? Is it positive? Do they encourage us to practice? Rather be around people that encourage us to practice, that help us become better practitioners. Like people like our great teachers. They encourage us. They challenge us. And being around them, whenever we're around them, we have incredible possibilities to accumulate merit, to do things for the benefit of others. The teacher's always doing things for the benefit of others. So if you're helping the teacher, you're helping to benefit others. Whatever they ask, do as best as you can. So these are the people that parents worry about for their children. Those friends that have maybe got a negative influence, they're going to affect the child. The child's going to get all sorts of negative habits. Get involved in the wrong crowd. We see an example of this as well as people, somebody we like, going to practice. Today I'm practicing. No matter what happens, nothing's going to disturb me. Don't switch off the phone though. Somebody phones. Let's go for a cup of coffee. Oh, this is a friend of mine. I haven't seen them for a long time. Oh, I see them often, but this person I really like. Okay, go for a cup of coffee, but I'm a little bit busy. I'll come just for half an hour. Okay. You go, you meet there, then you chat. 4 hours later, 3 hours later, oh, I better go. It was lovely chatting. So, that 4 hours of practice is gone. What did you talk about? How incredible the Dharma is? How great it is to benefit other people? This is wrong with that person. That person's got this problem. There's this political problem. How often do you talk about the positive things when you're with that friend? How often do you talk about the negative things? Oh, did you hear what? You know what? You tell me something and I'll tell you something. And then you go back, but where's the coffee shop? It's usually near the shopping center. So then you suddenly see, oh, maybe I need to buy this, maybe I need to buy that. Or that handbag looks at you, calls your name, you go buy it. Or that's something special for your PlayStation. And eventually you get back 5-6 hours later. I'm exhausted now. Let me rest. Let me look at something on the internet. All that energy that you had for practice is gone. Now you're tired. So be very careful of these negative friends. It's not that the other person has got a problem. It's not, again, the external problem. The problem is the attachment in our own minds, not the other person. If you start to be influenced by others, try to get a little bit of distance. Slowly distance yourself. Don't go for coffee so often. Only go help when they really need help. It doesn't mean you have to say, sorry, I'm practicing, I'll never see you again. Goodbye. The person, what happened? I thought this person was my friend. Now, all of a sudden, slowly, spend less and less time. Distance yourself. Of course, if they need help, go and help. But don't waste time unnecessarily. Respect your time. If you respect your time, other people will also respect your time. Sometimes they just need a little bit of training. As I said, I had one friend, she was very, very successful. And I used to ask, I used to be so busy, and she used to say, how come you've got so much time? And she said, when I've got an appointment with somebody else, I respect the appointment, I keep the appointment. When I've got an appointment with myself, I respect the appointment, I keep it. Keep those appointments with yourself. It's very important for your transformation, for benefiting others. Spend more time with a real friend, as we said, the great teachers, the enlightened teachers. Transform these habits, the negative ones, into positive. Practice again and again and again. Otherwise, we put it off. Put it off tomorrow. It's really important to create habits of practice. Otherwise, we put it off tomorrow, then we put it off for a week, then we put it off for a month, then we put it off for a year. 20 years later, what happened to the time? Our habits have become stronger, our negative ones. And it's gone. The time's gone like a dream. Time goes quicker and quicker as you get older. It really goes quicker and quicker. So it's very important to distance ourselves from these negative friends. And again, who are the biggest negative friends? These afflictive emotions. So one is of the external negative friends, but the real negative friends: anger, hatred, jealousy, pride, ignorance. Spend more time with loving kindness and compassion and wisdom, benefiting others. And then let's end the teaching there for today. Let's dedicate the merits. Sonam de tamcha tsepani, tobne nyepe tranam khache, keka naje balam trupai, tsipi tsoli droa sho.